cities that were among the first to experiment with smart choices transit-oriented development soon discovered that they had inadvertently aggravated the sprawl problem. For example, although Portland's Pearl District was lovely to look at, the number of children living there could be counted on one person's fingers and toes. We can't let Portland become a retirement city or a city without neighborhood schools, Mayor Tom Potter said. The solution we offered was not to give up on transit-oriented development, but rather to make sure the needs of children were considered within the planning process. The nexus, which is up on the next slide, I think, one more, right there, is the new face of TOD. Units of different sizes, with multiple bedrooms and bathrooms and amenities for kids and adults. Next one. Since 1992, Vancouver has had guidelines in place to develop high-density housing for families with children. Some of these complexes have proved so successful that new schools are being built in mature neighborhoods. At Collingwood Village, just 20% of units were reserved for families with children, yet they've turned out to be so popular that redevelopment sustains its own elementary school. The Grosvenor Community League is disappointed that the West LRT study has not included a vision of how transit and the redevelopment associated with it might benefit families with children. We've provided some thoughts on how to change this, and hopefully we'll consider them when we will look at the MDP later this week. From an economic perspective, there are few that argue against the notion that the most important commodity in the knowledge-based economy will be young, creative thinkers. Big houses with big yards are not what they value. They prefer central areas with compact design and common green spaces where people go to socialize. They are likely to have smaller families, 1 or 2 kids, not 3 or 4. By not nurturing housing for this creative class, we put our city at a competitive disadvantage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just got to get here. Councillor Henderson.
Yeah, just so as we go forward with this, and we're asking questions of the administration, your concerns are twofold. One is that you want to know that if you do choose to start a permit, that it actually involves calming of traffic and not an increase in traffic. That you want to know that things will quieten down through that strip, which goes right through the neighborhood rather than get more chaotic, yes?
Yes.
And then the second piece is that as I have a lot of questions around this, that as we look at what we mean by redevelopment along that route, if we choose it, that we make sure that we're creating neighborhoods that are family-friendly, that are building on what's there, that we actually think more broadly about what transit-oriented development means and what it can mean, yes?
Yes. I think that there's a concern that what might be in people's mind is a gentrification of Stony Plain Road. And I don't think that's what the communities are looking for. We really pride ourselves on being family-oriented communities, and right now we're short on children. If we could bring more children to that area through new housing, I think that would be fantastic as a revitalization tool for the city.
So, okay, so if you mean, so what you want to know is that as the next step, that when we talk about development opportunities, that we have a greater idea of what we're talking about, and that involves building what's already in that neighborhood.
Yes, and I'm concerned when I look at the slides that have been prepared about transit-oriented development that we don't see anything that seems appropriate for families. I believe we can have high-density housing that is appropriate for families, but I just haven't seen it in the city's vision yet.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. No further questions. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Mr. Daniel Queck. Is that close to pronunciation?
Correct, Mr. Mayor.
And then after that, Brian Wilshire. Is Brian Wilshire here? I just want to get the speaker. And Terry Prince. Is Terry Prince here? If you can come down, and then David Donnelly after that, and then Brenda Van Alstyne, if you can come down. Thank you. You're on.
Mayor Mandel and councilors, my name is Daniel Queck. I'm presenting a supportive view to the recommended West LRT routes, particularly Stony Plain Road between 156th Street to 149th Street and further east. Both as an impacted homeowner whose backyard abutted Stony Plain Road, and as well as a businessman and property owner just north of Stony Plain Road. As soon as the LRT route is announced, my inner feeling is positive hand, I attended 2 West LRT presentations recently and a public lecture organized by University of Alberta, delivered by Dr. Miller from Toronto. At the LRT presentations, I learned that the recommended route is based on a council-driven evaluation criteria, and they are comprehensively evaluated. I also learned that after council make decision, the LRT department next stage of action shall be ongoing consultation with affected businesses and residents to address the main concerns, worries, and consider feedback for input into construction design, drawing, etc., etc. At the emotionally charged sessions, I heard numerous impact statements against the recommended alignment. But my earlier positive feeling have instead become galvanized to the extent of coming to make these presentations, asking the council to approve the route as recommended. The Stony Plain Road corridor makes the most sense on ridership, economical cost, and most importantly will act as the catalyst to revitalize our beautiful but tired Kenora communities that is most in need of improvement and redevelopment. From my experience living abroad, this stretch of road between 156th Street and 149th Street has the best features and prerequisite to attract investors to consider value-added redevelopment as compared to 100th Avenue. Because of the cheap lands, already a business concentration there. The people here have established and widely supported high-density development that is good for the environment and to take advantage of the existing services over costly urban sprawl elsewhere. The percentage of potential residents using or can be convinced into using LRT here will be greater, as only 30% of Kenora residents are homeowners. Renter and apartment population have the best chance to be convinced into using transit services to make the LRT viable. Many residents here look forward to a revitalized, safe landscape, pedestrian-friendly sidewalk, lined retail businesses, farmer market, for example, farmer market, cozy restaurant, cafe, art gallery, bookshop, etc., etc. How lovely would it be with the slow LRT trains move by, with people watching, walking and drinking outside this restaurant and cafe in warmer summer months, and great outdoor view during winter. The reduction of traffic to one lane each direction will discourage speeding, and driver will be forced to drive with due care and to respect the stipulated 50 km/h limits here, especially east of 149th Street. The slower traffic will discourage the presently non-beneficial busy through traffic to cause an increase in destination.
Your red light is flashing. I'm sorry, but you have to stick to the schedule, otherwise we're going to... Well, that's all right, you did a wonderful job.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming, much appreciated. And sorry to everybody, when the red light's on, otherwise how do we then determine who's going to have extra time or not? So our next speaker is Mr. Brian Wilshire. Here. And then Terry Prince. Mr. Prince.
Good afternoon.